Okay, do that again.
Come on, man. Wake up.
Hey, are we here? There we go. Hello. Hello, everybody. It's Johnny Beane. Whoa. March 20th, 2020, 8:08 Bob time, Eastern time. Welcome. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a thumbs up, share. If you're watching this on Facebook, leave a thumbs up. And don't forget to listen to the podcast, which will be available on Stitcher, Apple, John Bale, where else is it?
Spotify.
And that'll be available later tonight.
You're working fast, huh?
Welcome. Yeah, man. I'm stuck in the house. I can't go outside.
Why, you're barricaded?
Yeah. I can't go anywhere. It's insane. So, huh? Oh, okay. No. Yeah, you're not supposed to be saying that stuff. Talking with Peter Wolf of Knaggs Guitars live.
Yeah.
Welcome, Peter.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Hey, you're welcome, man. Who else is in here? We got is that Larry Mitchell?
Hey now.
Jay Haddon? It's like a game show. David Nesdahl?
Hey, I knew that was happening.
Hey, Peter got no claps.
Yeah, what's up with that, Johnny?
Oh. Yeah. Welcome, everybody. Let's see. What do you want to do?
Let's say hello to the people in the chat real quick.
Okay.
Jay?
I guess I'll do it. I've been so out of practice that this might take me as long as Mancuda.
Oh, no.
Well, we got John Bolware, John BL5150, Hugh Caldwell. Man, people were rolling in. Look at the chat. It was cruising until I said something. Rich Deedis, Quentin James, Mr. BHB Jr. I think that might be Bruce. We got Steve Stevens in here. R2R3 Locking Nut. Notice how I just blew over that. Didn't even mention, didn't even make a big deal. Ben Coombs is here. Hugh Caldwell, Jason McNamara, Michael Collings, Mike Neese, Thomas Santiago. Tom, forget about it. Stream Elements is here. I don't know why I said that name. He's a bot. And a bunch of other people. Kenko Dor. And anybody else I missed, maybe we'll call you out during the show.
Jeannie says.
R2R23 Locking Nut, Janice Lala, and everybody else rolling in right now. Great to have you on this beautiful Friday night.
It is. Yeah.
That's it.
Welcome. Welcome, everybody. Jeremy Hefner, good to see you, dude. Over on Facebook. Paul, nice. Good to see you. So, let's see. So, Dave.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about Knaggs Guitars.
Well, in my opinion, I mean, I've played a few of them, and in my opinion, they're not because Peter's here. They are one of the best guitars I've ever played. One of the most beautiful guitar. Every guitar they make is like Larry says, a beautiful work of art. It's a playable work of art. Yes. And
cool.
And I've played all of Larry's Knaggs except for his Kenai J, which I can't wait to play. And they're all fantastic. I've played a couple in stores. I'm looking forward to getting one in the near future. So I'm really looking forward to that. So
I think you're gonna love it, Dave.
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I want to put this guitar down and play that. So yeah, it's going to be amazing, and I'm so happy and honored to have Peter Wolf here talking with us tonight, even though we haven't said one word to him yet.
Hi, Peter.
Anticipation.
Yeah. So, Peter, thank you for joining us. I know how busy you are, and it's a pleasure to have you here. And Larry, it's also always a pleasure to have you here. And Larry's playing one of his Severn models, the Larry Mitchell Severn, in beautiful. What color green is that? Is that what's the official color green?
Peter should tell you.
Peter, what's the official color of that?
I'm not really sure. We've made so many different color schemes that sometimes it's difficult to remember. I think it's green, definitely.
Okay.
I think is this the forest green?
It's actually, yeah, I think it's forest green on the outside. It's a single perf finish, and then the middle is probably a faded green of some sorts.
It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Now that guitar has piezo on it as well, Larry?
Yes, this has a piezo and a synth pickup as well.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's cool. So please show that again, Larry. Look at
I
that.
just have a jack plugged in here so I don't plug into the wrong side.
Oh, that's smart.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the synth piezo electric.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's the only one we've ever made like that. I don't think we've made another one like it. So you have one of a kind, Larry.
I'll go with that. That's cool.
Yeah.
But now someone else is gonna want one. Now that they see it, there'll be people out there that'll call in. They want to do it. Because it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It is cool, and they all are. They all. I can't. I don't know which one is my favorite that you have, Larry. I just can't. I can't make up my mind. But anyway, Peter, again, thank you so much. Let's get into this. Let's ask some questions.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate that.
Oh, it's our pleasure. All right, so tell us first, what made you decide to start a guitar company? Where were your beginnings on that? What was the start of it?
How much time do you have?
We have 2 hours, as long as you have. We have as long as you have. We've gone as long as 9 hours on this show.
Well, it was all right. So I'll try to keep it as short as I can. But to be honest, I wanted to become a professional soccer player initially, and before I was in the German army, I was playing high-level amateur leagues, like close to professional leagues, and then I was drafted into the German army, and that kind of interrupted everything. We had the draft back in the day, and after I got out of the army, which was 2 years, I decided to finish, business college and start an apprenticeship at an insurance and banking company. Excuse me. And in the meantime, while I was in the army, 2 of my friends, George and Jürgen, already had started a music store. We're talking about 1974 here. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a time where, everything was suggested retail price. And in 1975, September 1st, the German government lifted suggested retail prices and allowed retailers to sell at whatever prices they wanted to. So, we would drive in a VW bus to England and change Deutschmarks into English pounds and hit Shaftesbury Avenue in London and buy everything we could get our hands on and sold it at discounted prices in Germany 4 days later. That's kind of how it all started. So, and then the store grew very fast, and then I started to get involved with American companies, high-end American companies, or what I thought was high-end American companies. And I brought many different brands to Germany and Europe first. For instance, Hamer guitars, later PRS, Soldano, groove tubes, and many others. So that was kind of my drive was kind of to find high-end American manufacturers, small companies that made something really special and bring it to Europe and promote it there, and sell it obviously, and help grow in those brands. So in '86, I went to the Chicago show. I met Paul and Michael Dealey and Clay Evans, my dear friends to this day, and I became the chairman, first the chairman, and then the Central European distributor of PRS. First as a dealer, and then in 1990 I started PRS Guitars Germany and started to market and brand PRS on a more professional level. And then I did that for 7 years, and in '97 Paul asked me to help him run international sales, so I became the international sales manager in '97. Took the company from 13 countries to 97 in 6 years.
That's incredible.
From $800,000 export revenue to 15 million. And then in 2003, I moved to the US and became their director of global sales and marketing, and did that until 2008, actually 2009.
Wow.
So that's the skinny.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Wow. So how did you get involved with Joe Knaggs?
Well, when I was in America, in Maryland, at the shop at PRS on a more regular basis, like between '97 and 2003, I would go back and forth. I would stay for 4 or 5 weeks at a time. So I was basically starting to get more into internal affairs and logistics and management. Wrote all the job descriptions in sales and marketing team for all the people there. And I met Joe, and soon after I realized that he's been the real maker, the real builder, the design force inside the company that nobody really knew about. And then once I learned that, I started to promote him, because I always believe that credit is due to whom owns it. And so I started to promote Joe, and saw what he was doing, and that led to ultimately later on led to Knaggs.
Yeah. That's great. That's really good. So was Joe already the head of the private stock division over there when you first met him, or was
He was head of private stock. He actually founded that little department that consisted of himself, John Ingram, Dave Hazel, and Danny Dido, who are all working with us now, have been for the last 2 years. So it's great to have the original private stock team within Knaggs. And I basically I try to get into different designs. At that point in time, they really only had one shape, and I felt it may be necessary or a good idea to have different shapes, different headstocks, especially.
Yeah.
I never really believed in one-trick ponies, and I don't mean that in a
Look at that.
yeah. I
that's-
basically felt at that point in time that in order for us to PRS, that was at that point in time, to grow and perhaps take additional market share from other companies in a very high, very competitive market, I felt that it may be necessary or was necessary to introduce other designs that would divert from just one body shape, one headstock shape. And Joe is somebody who has an incredible talent of coming up with these shapes and lines, and it's one of the hardest things to draw a really good looking headstock, something that, how I put it, that has the potential to become a classic.
Yeah, sure.
There's only so many people who can do that, and he's definitely one of the best I've ever seen, if not the best.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the headstock is the hardest part of the guitar to make look good. And again, not only because you're here, but every headstock I've seen on your guitars is attractive. Like it's, it doesn't look like this, and it doesn't look like that other company with the 6-in-line headstock, but it is its own thing. It's its own thing, and each one of them is its own thing, and they look fantastic.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And the other thing is, one of the other things I wanted to say is, I own a Paul Reed Smith guitar, a really nice one, and they're all great guitars. I don't think I've ever played a bad one. But the fact that you have most or all of the private stock team at Knaggs means that all of your guitars, whether they're T1, T2, or T3, they're all private stock guitars. Every one of them.
Essentially, yes, that's true. I think it took people a long time to realize some of what you just said, and even before Dave and actually it was only Dave, Danny, and John were like part of it from the beginning. But when Dave joined us, people thought, okay, now they got the entire original private stock team back at Knaggs, but it goes way further than that. It's been we introduced 10 different models at the Frankfurt show in 2010, 10 years ago, April 2010, almost 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I remember those months that led to the Frankfurt show 2010, where Joe and Danny would make one-offs that we would take to the show. And, I remember how hard it was for them to get it all done in time. But at the same time, I didn't want us to be, a one-trick pony or put in a certain drawer. I wanted us to be from day one to be somebody who can, competently design and build instruments that cater to all kinds of different cams, not just one. Mm-hmm. That was important to me, and I think it may have set us apart a little bit from most other companies.
So, how did that first trade show go for you? How much interest was there? How many people came to the booth?
At that point, we were with Sound Service in Germany. My old friend Jochen Stock, who was one of the guys who started Sound and Drumland in Berlin. Around the same time, we started Pro Sound, my retail store in Germany. So we're talking mid 70s. And Jochen had, a fairly large distribution company already at that point in time. And I remember I called him in October or November 2009 and said, would you be interested in working with us? This is what we're going to do. This is what's going to happen. And he, without ever seeing anything, basically said, yes, I would love to. And so our first German distributor was Sound Service for the next 5 or 6 years. So the first show in Frankfurt, we were part of their booth setup. They had a fairly large booth, and we had a little Knaggs corner, and that's where we showed the first guitars.
Wow! And what was the first guitar that you guys? What was the first model that you guys came out with?
The original model was the Choptank, which was something that Joe designed in 2001. But the first guitar he actually built that had sort of his name on it, I think he initially called them Chesapeakes and wanted to call them Chesapeake because that's where we are, Chesapeake Bay, Maryland. Was a Severn that he made for a friend of ours. I think the Choptank was second. And then when we left PRS, I left in February 2009. 2009. Joe left about 3 months after me. And we started like in July or August, we started to talk about other instruments that I thought first we should be coming out with. Chesapeake line were all 25.5 in scales, in 6-in-line headstocks, and I felt it was important to have a 24/7 5 scale and 3-in-a-side headstocks. That's how the Kenai, Kia, Cheyenne, and Jenna came about, which were all designed between December 2009 and March 2010.
Now, the Chesapeake, is that generally like a hum single hum with a Floyd, or is that just any Severn is a Chesapeake? What's the difference between a Severn and a Chesapeake?
I think initially they, Joe's vision was to have sort of like, he was always playing 61 Strats for the most part of his life, even while he was at PRS, and that was his main guitar. So I think he was coming more from the Strat and Tele type of perspective, where I was like, because I've always played short scale guitars, and I was more coming from the Les Paul camp, to be honest.
Yeah.
So while the Chesapeake models, the Severn and the Choptank, were there first, and also the Potomac and Patuxent, the two acoustics that he had made, we then added the Kenai, Jenna, Kia, and Cheyenne, and then also the Choptank and the Severn bass. So basically, by the first trade show in Frankfurt 2010, we had all these different models and designs and shapes completely set up or laid out, if you will.
And how are the names of the guitars? How'd you guys come up with that? Like Chenna and Kenai. I mean, they're unusual names.
Thank you. Well, the Severn and the Choptank, the so-called Chesapeake models, which is Severn, Choptank, Patuxent, and Potomac, are all named after tributaries to the Chesapeake Bay. Native American names of tributary rivers to the Chesapeake Bay. So when we started to think about the influence line, as we called it, which is Kenai, Jenna, and Cheyenne and Kia, I thought it would be great if we would have river names, Native American river names of other rivers in North America. So that's how those names came about. Kenai is a peninsula in Alaska. Kia, Cheyenne, and Jenna are river names across the U.S.
That's brilliant, because they stick. Those names stick.
Thank you.
Honestly, if anyone that knows anything about Knaggs Guitars, and I mean, to me, that's as those names are as synonymous, or as not synonymous, as well known as Stratocaster and Telecaster.
Well, not quite yet.
Well, to me it is, because I can see the shape in my head as I say the name. So to me, I think it's that way.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I can visualize the shape of the guitar as I say the name, or as I think of the name. So to me, it's as synonymous as a Stratocaster or a Telecaster.
That's good.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
Here's
looks like the guitars in the line.
Looks like Wilcott's website.
Yeah.
By the way, Brandon is a great guy. The guys at Wilcott are really great guys, and Brandon, especially Brandon Bowles, he's our man there. I think he owns 4 or 5 himself. Great player, really nice guy. So cheers to Brandon and Wilcott.
Yeah, I check out Wilcott's website almost every day. That's really
Yes. Yeah. So here's some of the different different guitars.
Yep.
So Larry, if I could interject real quick, when did you get involved with Knaggs, and what was the first model that you played, or how did you get involved with Knaggs, I should say?
I was just I come to Maryland every year and do some work at the Montgomery College. I do a master class, or I in production or recording or guitar, and then I work with the head of the music department there. And we usually do a record. So sometimes I'm there for 2 weeks to a month. And I knew I was going, and I wanted to. I like guitar factories. I like to see where they make some cool guitars and stuff. So I knew I wanted to go see another factory, and never heard back from them. That's a whole other story. And I remembered that the local guitar hero, Steve Stevens, one of my guitar players, was using a new guitar from a company in Maryland as well. And I actually didn't know much about the history. I didn't know Joe's history. And I contacted Steve, and he wrote a really nice. I looked at the guitars he was playing; they looked amazing, and he wrote a really nice email. And Joe and Peter said, "Come on down," and I went down. Spent a great day with Joe, talking about guitars and life and everything. And then he let me play everything that was in the factory that was assembled carefully. And
That's awesome.
every guitar that I played was amazing, and which is rare, which is really rare that you out of any company that you pick up every guitar you pick up, even guitars that really aren't my style or my thing. And I was like, wow, this is not my thing, but it could be. And for some of the guitars, but then the other guitars that I played, I was just like, wow, this is amazing. And that's how we got started. I had just a great time with Joe and played some amazing guitars. And this is the first guitar that Joe made for me. It's a Severn. And it was Joe's idea to put the logo on across 3 frets instead of 1. So. And the first guitar I got was that China that I had a little while ago. That was the actual first. Well, I got that while I was waiting for this to be finished.
But do you remember the first one you played at the factory?
No, I don't. They were all amazing. It was a Severn. It was a Severn.
Okay.
That's great. Yeah, I remember when you first had that guitar here, the one in your hands. Well, actually, I remember all of them, but that particular one in your hands, that one is the one that gave me the bug. That guitar there was the one that was like, okay, I need to know more about this company. I want one of these things. And I didn't necessarily want your model because, quite frankly, it's, I wanted to have something, similar to that, but not something with your name on it. But that guitar.
You don't like Larry?
I love Larry. I love Larry, but
you already have one of his guitars.
But but I you guys may or may not know this, and the people in the chat may or may not know this. But when I first started hanging out with Larry, when we were becoming friends, I wanted to be so much like him that I would dress like him and have the same guitars as him and try to be like him. And it was like, I had no idea. I didn't have my own identity. I really didn't. And Larry will even say yes. He was like, he would say, yes, you can say yes. Come on. Who had a leather hat like you had? Who played the same guitars you would play? Who did? I wanted to be you so badly. I wanted to be like you. And Larry, in his own way, taught me to be me, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget that from you. And just it's I knew I wanted to have a Knaggs guitar, or more than one actually, but I didn't quite I didn't want to follow in that footstep again. So I'm so glad that Knaggs makes other guitars, and I love your guitar, by the way, Larry. I think it's a beautiful guitar. but I'm so glad that they make other ones that look like it, but not exactly like yours.
Hey Johnny, before Dave embarrasses himself anymore, can you go
I'm not
back to
embarrassing
that,
myself.
No, I'm joking, man. Can you go back to the screen with all the guitars, please? That red and black, or the black and red, man. Look at that.
With the
You
Floyd
mean-
on it?
You
Yeah,
mean
with
these?
with the Floyd
Yeah.
Rose. I almost bought one of those this week.
Which one?
Yes.
Yeah, the black and red one, dude.
This one.
Right there.
One of those. Look, yeah.
Steve Stevens S7 XF.
Yeah,
That's what that is.
It's amazing. That guitar
You know-
is just crazy.
Any website that has more than 2 Knaggs on it becomes addicting. Any website, you keep going back and going up.
That's this
What-
website.
what-
Yeah. Yeah, there's tons.
So
yeah,
Peter,
the Hongas, yeah, keep
I have
going.
I have a question for you, Peter.
Sure.
Those Steve Stevens Severns. Do you make them in all different colors, or are they only in the 2 colors like that, and then the purple and the purple one? Is that the only 2
No,
colors you'll do it in?
We make them in any possible color combination.
So
that
you wouldn't
anyone
have
bring
to
to
ask
you.
Steve Stevens for permission for that, or all you
No.
just it is. Oh, well, that's
No,
cool too.
No, the Steve Stevens attributes of a guitar or appointments that make it a Steve Stevens are his ray gun inlay.
Mhm.
On the Severns, it's on it's on the 12th fret, and then the truss rod cover with his signature on it. See that ray gun there on the 12th fret?
Yeah.
So, we can make them in any color combination. We can make it with yellow and outside, inside green, or whatever anyone can come up with. It's only restricted really by the pickup color combinations that we can get, because Steve likes bare knuckle pickups a lot, and so all of his models, the SSC, the SS1, SS2, and SSC models, as well as the S7 XF, all have bare knuckles.
Yeah, the bare knuckles. I love them.
And they're all rebel. Are they rebel yellows? Are they what? That's
They
what they're called?
are not. They are based on their mules, which are Alnico 2 low vintage output pickups. I love those. They sound great. I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of them.
Yeah, I have a set in a Strat right now. They're
Oh,
great
Dave, your
pickups.
buddy Ty has a set of mules in.
In one of his Les Pauls. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said they're amazing.
Yeah, very very good pickups. Expensive, but very good.
Yeah, these are right back here. These are a set of bare knuckles in here.
Yep.
They are phenomenal.
I got to try some of those. I
You
keep
do?
hearing about them.
Yeah, you should put them in a guitar. Put them in a Wolfgang. You'd love it.
Yeah, the
You know,
ray gun's
I wanted to say something about Steve because I'm sure you would have asked anyway, but since we are looking at that, I've known him since I think '85, I believe.
Hmm.
We were first meeting each other or acquainted during the Hamer days when he was playing Hamers and I was doing Hamer in Europe. Paul Hamer and Frank and Joel are still good friends of mine. So that's, I think, when we met in '85, and that's when I met him. And I think it was shortly after, maybe a year or two after Rebel Yell came out. So I was already a huge fan. And there's Steve coming over to the Frankfurt show, and we were hanging out for a couple of days. And, that's kind of what started our relationship that is now 36-year-old relationship. So what I wanted to say is he's, in my opinion, he's one of the most influential guitar players, at least to me. He's what I call a gearhead. He's really about gear. He knows guitars like the best of us. He knows amps like the best of us, and it's always been a pleasure to work with him and having him help us and also guide us to some degree along. So we've now working together with Knaggs almost 8 years. Since like November 2012, I believe, is when we reconnected, and then we came out with the SS1 in Frankfurt in 2013. So just wanted to mention that it's been a pleasure working with him and Josie and their team. And you know, there's a lot of you know, real close connection happening on, you know, between us, and it's a great thing. I'm very proud of.
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's a gorgeous guitar. Our friend BV Ninja in the chat says, Jay or Dave, can you ask Peter how the cafe racer type design and colors came about from the company's point of view on his friend Eric Steckel's signature model?
Oh, you mean the Cobra?
Yeah.
I think the original first Cobra we made was actually made for George Kappa in Greece. It was the first metallic blue, Cobra blue, racing stripes Kenai we made for him. I think Eric really liked that particular color combo. So after we made his original sunflower model, I think the second one was the Cobra blue with white racing stripes, and it's probably become his #1 guitar lately. That's the one he's been playing mostly.
Yeah, I've seen him play that one and the Candy Steckel model as well. I think
Candy too.
That guitar is ridiculous. That's such a great guitar.
Yeah, that was a nice story. He met last year in Australia. He met this collector in Melbourne. His name is Paul Dimmer, and he has several original vintage guitars, like a 60s Burst, so that he calls Candy. So they met, and Paul had become a fan of Eric. So when Eric was in Melbourne, they met each other, and you know, Eric played his 60s Burst, and Paul played his Cobra Blue Steckel model, and really liked it. And he asked him if he could ask us if we may be interested in making a replica of Candy, the 60s Burst Les Paul that he owned. And Eric asked us after he came back from Australia, and you know, we talked about it for a couple of days and decided to make a limited run of 11 of those. But as a Kenai Steckel model, trying to replicate this, you know, the looks of the 60s Burst, but then apply our mojo in a Steckel model to it.
It was brilliant.
Thank you.
Because every time I see that guitar, I'm like, I really wish I
won the lottery.
Well, yeah, that guitar, I mean, it wasn't any more expensive than a normal Eric Steckel, right?
It was a little bit more expensive because Seymour Duncan custom developed and wound picked for us that were based on the readings of the of the PAF, original PAFs that were in the 60s Burst. The 60s Burst that Paul Dimmer had in Australia also was sort of like a unique guitar because it had a 60s body, but it had a 59 neck.
So it was a number 160, like the first iteration of 1960.
As you know, the 60 necks were rather slim comparatively to the 59s, and what happened with that guitar was the original owner broke the neck fairly soon after he bought it, and then he contacted Gibson and sent it back to the factory, and they put a 59 neck in it. That's probably what they had laying around at that point in time. So it's a 60s body, and it had a replacement 59 neck, which is on the thicker side, as most of us know. And that's kind of what we went for when we made the original Candy Steckel replica. You know, I have my own thoughts about necks. I always thought that thicker necks sound better.
Yes, I agree.
After playing thousands and thousands of guitars, I
They're
mean,
not.
not talk high-end
Then
guitars.
yeah,
That's my take for what it's worth.
they're not necessarily as comfortable to play, but they do sound better. Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Hugh Caldwell asks, can Peter tell us about the Tier 2 Chesapeake Choptank spalted maple?
Okay. Well, we started to make guitars, different models with either alder or swarm bash bodies that had spalted maple tops. And at some point, Joe came up with the idea of inlaying stone into the spalled maple top. It's a pretty punky wood, as you know, most of us know. So he would start carving out channels on the top and inlay stone, blue lapis or turquoise or chrysocolor stone, which made them look like this.
Larry, that's got your name all over it.
Yeah, I thought about that many times.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
really
like
cool.
it's amazing watching him working on these, cutting out these particular channels as he sees fit, and he's got such great eye and such great taste when it comes to doing that. It's no don't really want to talk about exactly how we do it because that's sort of
Yeah, you don't have to talk about
Mhm.
that.
but it's amazing watching it, and it's amazing watching what comes out of it.
Now, how heavy are those guitars with the stone in it?
How many?
How heavy are they?
How heavy? Oh no, they're not heavy at all. They maybe the same weight than without stone, or just barely, maybe a little bit
Okay.
more heavy.
I
Very,
would-
very, very unnoticeable difference, I would say.
But
You're
that
looking
reminds
at
me of if anybody in the chat or anybody, I don't know about anybody in here though. If anybody's a Gears of War fan, the emulsion, I think it's Gears of War 2 or 3, where if anybody is a video game guy or girl,
I am.
do you remember that? I don't know if you played Gears. I think it was 3, where it had the
I-
emulsion in that game, where it's like you look down and the stuff is like, looks like that, but a different color, but looks awesome. That's the first time I saw one of those Knaggs with that on it. That's what I thought of, which is cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it's I think Joe came from a probably more practical, but at the same time also from a very artistic point of view. When you go to a music store and you see hundreds of guitars at the wall, and you just glance over the walls, um, at some point, they all look the same. I mean, the shapes are different. You
Mhm.
recognize some of them you don't. But same with our single or double perf finishes, where we cut channels across the top and stain the outside or the inside in different colors, things like that. When he was very sick, when he was going through his cancer in 2013 or 14, he was thinking a lot, being at home, losing a lot of weight, being on a feeding tube, freaking out, and he just thought of something that would distinguish our guitars from other brands. So that's kind of how the single and double perf models and also the inlaid stone guitars started to come about. That was completely Joe entirely from A to Z.
And the cool thing about those guitars is everyone that has something like that, they're unique, one of a kind guitars.
You got it. They're completely one of a kind. You can. It's impossible to replicate that because every single spalled maple top is different, and you can only use certain spots in the top. to carve out channels to possibly inlay stone. So, and then obviously it also depends on the eye of the designer and the eye of the maker and creator, where he's going, what he's doing, how he's putting that stone in there and where. And that's where his creativity and his competence and an eye comes really handy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're amazing guitars.
Thank you.
Wow. Let's see. Yeah, there's. I've never been to this website. This is great.
Yeah.
So many cool.
It's
so many
addicting.
cool guitars. Yeah.
Peter BV Ninja also asks, can you ask Peter if there's a set time span that you'll come out with the very limited special editions like the Black Rhino Severn X, or is it just whenever?
Not really a specific time frame. It's kind of like, ideas pop up, we talk about it. It depends a little bit on what's going on in general, what the order situation is, how many guitars we have on back order. So it's rather sporadic and depends on whatever the ideas are. We are also not limited to only our ideas. We are open ears. We are open to people's ideas. For instance, the candy was Eric's idea, if you will. So we're not really locked down in to only doing what we think is working. We're open to, if it's a great idea and if there's a potential for it to turn into something really good, really nice, beautiful, we go for it.
Nice. Sean Silas is here. Hey, Sean. He says, Larry, I love your style, man. I missed your demo at NAMM. I did get a deck of cards and was trying to get you to sign them. Well, Sean, I got good news for you. You can get them signed at my wedding because Larry and you will both be there.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm bussing the first 7 tables.
I'll make sure your tux is ready.
Put me at table 8, Dave.
Not even going there. Thank you, sweetie.
You're welcome.
Really?
What is it? What do you
Iced
got
tea.
there?
Iced
What
tea.
is it? Oh.
Cheers, Dave.
Man, I already finished
Cheers.
mine.
Cheers, everyone.
Yes. All right, Peter. Now, for the exciting part for me, how did the Kenai J come about?
I think it was something that I've always loved juniors. Okay, I had a 56, tobacco burst, black burst, and I had a 60s double cut cherry, and they were both unplayable. The 57 had a baseball bat neck and really small thin frets. You could really only play chords on it. And the 60s had a slightly warped neck. I could only really play it like 6th or 7th fret. Either it was set up well down there or it was set up well up there. So it was all over the place. And I sold them both, but I've always liked the vibe of those guitars, the simplicity of them, the looks of them. Flat top, flat back, no carved top, single bridge humbucker or single bridge P90 dog ear. It was just sort of the vibe and the looks of those guitars that I always really liked. And one day, I think it was a Tuesday, when I was at the shop, Joe said something like, maybe we should do a junior or something like that. And I said, I would love that. And I can't remember if it was his idea initially, if it was mine. in any case, let's say it was his, but I was totally game when he brought it up, and I'm super happy that we did it because I think we made about 120 now, and people love them. I have the original prototype in my room, and I pull it out like almost every day, and it's one of the loudest electrics acoustically that I've ever heard. It's just basically I'm super happy and super proud that we made this and came out with it. So that's how
I have
this
to agree.
came
It's
about.
really loud guitar acoustically. It's
Thank
great.
you.
It's absolutely great guitar. I saw it when I
Thanks.
first saw it. I was like, oh, see, I'm addicted to those websites too. I was like scanning a website, and I was like, what is that? What is that? And I think I sent Peter a message right away.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
I
you
made
did.
it.
It's a great guitar. I've been using it for I've been home, here a bit and recording, and it's becoming the first thing I grab to start recording. Even though it probably, it's got the P90, which is a wonderful pickup, but I should probably start with something else and then layer on this. But it's the first guitar I pick up.
And I can understand.
Right.
I'm so jonesing right now. I can't wait.
Mhm.
Yeah. Imagine that guitar right there in TV yellow, in a heavy relic
That's what we've made a few of those.
in this house.
And just so that people know, this is what we internally call the price point guitar for us, and I think this is a fairly important subject. As hopefully everyone knows, we don't make anything overseas. We don't make knockoffs. We don't make seconds. We don't make anything in what I call slave labor countries. And I don't want that to sound arrogant or anything like that, but these guitars are made by the same exact people, which is Joe, Dave, um, you know, Dave Hazel, John Ingram, Danny Dido, Nick Ralph, Jason Brinkfield, Tim Filbert, myself,
Lucas.
and Lucas. Yeah, let's not forget Lucas. So it's the same exact people that make those guitars, and the only reason why we can offer it at the price that we can, made by the same people and made in America, is that we have restricted the options and limited the options. They're flat tops, not carved tops. They're flat backs, rounded edges. East Indian rows with fingerboards, only dots. They got this, Tom wraparound adjustable stop tail on them. Pickups are either P90 dog ear, Antiquity P90 dog ear from Duncan, SH4 bridge humbucker, S2HN neck humbucker, or two Sopa P90. So by limiting the options and no purfling, no binding, things like that, we were able to come out with a price point guitar, for us a price point guitar that is simple, plays great, sounds great, hopefully attracts a lot of people who may not be able to afford our more expensive instruments.
Mm-hmm.
That was the whole plan.
Wow.
Plus we wanted to make a guitar like a junior, but a Knaggs J, with our build quality, with our expertise, with our attention to detail, and I think we did it.
Well, it certainly is a beautiful guitar. It's, it makes my mouth water. I love it.
It's extremely well made guitar, like all Knaggs guitars, and it's great. It sounds great. It looks great and plays great.
Well, and the thing is, it's still handmade by one of these guys that are there. It's yes, it's not as expensive as a tier 1 Steve Stevens Severn or whatever tier 1 model, but it's the same quality build at what is it? The street price is $2,800 or something like that.
Correct.
Yeah, street price is $2,800, and if you want it relic, I think it's $3,200.
Correct.
And it's still, yes, that's a lot of money because $3,200 is $3,200 no matter what. But when you're talking about a quality guitar like that, that is a lot of guitar for that money. That is a lot of guitar for that money.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, no thanks needed. If I didn't think so, I'd keep my mouth shut. But yeah, it's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah, I like it. And I'm a huge fan of P90s, so I'm really liking this one.
And the other thing I like about these guitars, and basically all of them, is that your take on the colors are fantastic. Yeah, you dare I say you took the idea from the early Gibsons, and I mean you took it from here and you just brought it, you just brought it way up, and I mean your take on those colors are fantastic.
Thank you. Joe, as I said, Joe is he has an incredible eye. The other thing that most people don't know is he works on every single guitar. Okay, every single one we make, and the majority of them he stains himself. He's always working on guitars and not just electrics. He's building the acoustics completely by himself. So what most people don't realize is that he's actually working on every single guitar we make. And then we got Jason and Nick. They're both incredible sprayers and paint artists. So we got two really good guys in the finish hall. And then we got John doing the setups, who is the original partner of Paul Reed Smith. He started the company with Paul back in '85. Mm-hmm. John is setting up all of our guitars. Lucas is starting to set up more of them, but the first 8-9 years, it was all John. So we got some really good guys who know what they're doing, and I'm in a fortunate position to have people produce and make something that I can wholeheartedly promote and put out there, and that's it's great to see it come together like that.
Mm-hmm. So Peter, our friend Sean Silas, I just want to give you a little bit of background on him. For a long time, he worked at Fender in Corona, Fender, Charvel, and EVH. So he asks, Peter, if I wanted that P90 version, what if I wanted that cool turquoise wood finish look? Is that possible?
It's not for now. We may expand the offerings at a later date, but for now we just want to have one guitar that is only coming in certain configurations. See, we did a little, look at our builds in the last 3 months the other day. We went through all the build lists, internal production and build lists, and 95% of the instruments we make are different from each other. Okay, so we basically, almost everything we make is custom. Everything we make has some different appointments of whatever kind. So we wanted to have one guitar that was really more like something we would make all the time. Yes, there's 3 or 4 different pickup configurations. Yes, there's 8 different colors. But other than that, we wanted to have one model that we could offer maybe at a lower price point, that we didn't have to customize everything about. It only comes with certain pickup configurations. No, you cannot get different pickups other than the ones that are coming with it. No, you cannot get a different inlay. You cannot get anything else. No fingerboard binding. You know what I mean? Things like that allow us to make them in a more efficient way without having to customize every single instrument.
So I guess a Floyd Rose is out of the question.
No Floyds.
Damn.
So
I'm saying for now because, we did talk about perhaps at some point opening up possible options, but we've only come out with it early October, so we're not even we're just half a year into it now, and it's we want to do with this guitar what we're doing right now for the time being.
Would you consider that your best seller at the moment?
Not really, no. Actually, no. It's just an addition to our portfolio, if you will, and no, I wouldn't call it that. It's astonishing to me how different people react to the different models that we make, and it's actually perfect. It's I can understand every one of them. Some people prefer Choptanks, other people prefer Severns, SSC, Kenais, all the different models we have, and I can see why. At the same time, they're all siblings. You can tell when you see them that they're all siblings. It's very obvious. There's something that the shapes have all in common, and that's a very unique thing that I think is very, very different from most other companies.
I have one more question about custom builds.
Okay.
Just for shits and giggles, if I wanted to order a Steve Stevens classic, could I get a slim tapered neck instead of the 58 baseball bat style neck? Could I get that? 59.
Yeah. You probably could. We can shave the neck slightly down. They're all hand shaved anyway. Every single neck we make is ultimately hand shaved. So yes, we could do that.
And is that true for any model that you sort of can customize, like any model that has T1, T2, T3?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have certain neck sizes. 7 is sort of like what we call a 61 neck.
Yeah.
The Choptank is I think a 54 or 55 type neck. Our Kenais are 59 type necks. So are Kias, Cheyennes, and Jennas. But yes, we can make a thinner Choptank neck. We can make a thicker Kenai neck, or thinner Kenai neck. Yes, because ultimately they're all hand shaped.
Oh, okay. Well, that's really great to know. Awesome. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything in the chat.
Well, since Larry is sitting there with a bunch of Knaggs guitars, should we? I know he's kind of showing them, but
yeah, let's have him show them off.
What do you want to see?
I can't say that on the air, Larry.
That's beautiful. Now, is that a black pickguard or is that a tortoise?
Black.
I can't tell. Okay.
Black.
Same
exact one I have. I have the original prototype, exactly like that. Same exact guitar.
What is the fretboard radius of this?
12.5.
You can bend for days on that guitar.
Same as Kenai, all Kenais, Cheyennes, Jenna, and Kias. They're all 12.5. The regular 7s are 8.5. The 7X is 14, and the 7X Floyd is 16.
Oh, that's right up my alley. The 16.
So, Peter, this is a full hollow body, right?
Correct. It's I don't know if you know, but Joe designed a bunch of models at PRS. Amongst them was the hollow body, the original hollow body, and the single cut hollow body. So this is the same principle. It's a mahogany back, either maple or mahogany top, fully hollow, there's a mahogany block underneath the bridge that connects the back and the top. That's it.
And I guess that's what the pickups are screwed into, the rings, the block.
No, the rings are screwed into the top. The bridge is screwed into the mahogany block that connects the back and the top.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty thick top.
Yeah, it's regular. It's the same thickness as all of our maple tops have.
Beautiful. Now, how did that model come about? Let's talk about that a little bit. Not the Larry Mitchell, not the Larry Mitchell itself, but that particular one.
You mean the Larry Mitchell, the Larry Mitchell model, or the Severn with the maple fretboard?
The Larry Mitchell Severn with the maple fretboard, because the first one was the rosewood fretboard.
You go, Larry.
I was going to Germany and Italy a lot, and it was there used to be a ban on wood, on rosewood.
Yeah, there was this stupid rosewood ban for a while, I think 2 years, and Larry was worried that he would get in trouble bringing guitar with a rosewood fretboard into Europe, because Europe, especially Germany, Australia, and Japan, they are the most anal when it comes to, or have been the most anal when it comes to those restrictions.
Yep.
When they first banned rosewood. You go, Larry.
Yeah. So I didn't want my guitar taken away, whether because it was just illegal or somebody at customs really liked it and wanted to keep it. And so I asked about a maple fretboard guitar, and then I had a hard time trying to figure out the color combination with maple. And what I didn't want was a bright white maple neck. And I was looking at those. I was obsessively looking at any website that sold Knaggs guitars that had a bunch of pictures on. And there was a picture of a guitar a couple guitars that had walnut pickguards. Do you make walnut pickguards, Peter?
No, we don't. Either Koa.
Oh, Koa.
Maple,
That's what it was.
Yeah, or Anagray, or yours is a ivorized, sort of orangey toned maple pickguard.
Yeah. But I had seen the Koa, and I was talking to Joe about it, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know if you really want to do the Koa." And I said, "Well, can you make the pickguard and the neck? Can you make the pickguard look like it's the same color as Koa? And can you make the neck match or come close to it?" He said, "Yes." And then when I saw this, I was blown away. And I love the onyx. This is the onyx, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Sometimes it looks purple.
Yeah, the maple top is onyx, and then the pickguard and the toned, as we call it, the toned maple fretboard and back of the neck is, together. It's an amazing color combo.
Yeah,
It looks great.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It usually gets lots of attention when I pull it out there.
I held that guitar.
Yeah, me too. Played that guitar a few times.
Well, I'm not holding it here, but
You guys are both really tall.
I might have been on my tippy toes there.
Because I've met Larry a few times, and you're like this high compared to me.
Well, plus he had boots on and the hat, so that kind of
Helps.
That's not just a 10-gallon hat. That's like a 20-gallon hat.
You guys.
We say it with love.
When was that? That was March 6th.
Last year.
Dude, that was over a year ago.
Wow.
Holy crap. Man.
Wow. All right, Peter, do you think you'll be making anything else like amplifiers in the future? Do you think you'll be doing anything? You make basses as well, correct?
Yes.
I just saw on Facebook today, I can't remember someone playing one of your basses.
Yeah, Alejandro Medina. He's playing with great guys. Playing with Riley Green. We have a
Uh-huh.
bunch of guys down in Nashville playing our stuff, and among them are 2 bass players. One is Alejandro, and then the other one is Luke Rice and Morgan Wallen's band. And
Well, it sounded great.
yeah, they're great basses. You know, we haven't made that many. I think we made about 50 or so,
Mhm.
maybe
I have
even
played 2 of the
less.
basses. They're absolutely great. I do have to get a
They
bass.
are Jeff Eason in Seattle has one. There's a bunch of people who have one, and Tim Hargrove in Indiana, Eric Steckles, U.S. bass player. So they're great. They're really great looking basses, great playing, sounding basses. You know, that was another thing I wanted to. You know, a lot of guitar companies didn't make basses. PRS, for instance, didn't make any basses until Joe designed the Gary Granger bass. But some shapes don't really work with 3 and a side headstocks, in my opinion. And I think our shape for the Severn and Choptank works really great with the 4 or 5 in line headstock.
Yeah, indeed. It was a beautiful bass. It sounded so good. I mean, yeah, I mean, it has to do with the person playing it as well, but I mean, just
Sure.
the tones of that instrument was really nice. It was great.
Thank you.
What else? Any of you guys have any questions?
So Larry, that is your main, right?
This, you know, like I said, I started out with this to go back and forth to Europe with, and I was like, all right, cool. I'll just play it when I go to Europe. And I had the main guitar I was going to play, which was the first one I had on the brown one, and I played it and played it and played it, and then before I knew, it always was the first one I would grab to go on the road with. So it's become the main guitar.
Awesome.
So in the chat, really quick in the chat, my mom is here, Beverly
Hey.
Cooper Tours. She says, super amazing show tonight. Very unique, beautiful guitars.
Thank you. Thank you, Mom.
That means she's going to buy me 5 of them.
Mom, where's the meatloaf?
You're lucky man.
Hi to your mom.
No. Yeah. Larry says hi, Mom, if you're still here.
So Larry, what pickups are in that?
They are DiMaggio pickups because I've been with DiMaggio for 35 years.
Yeah, about. Yep.
35 years. These are DiMaggio Area 67 pickups, the neck and the middle. Mm-hmm. And then I had asked Steve Blucher, if you don't know Steve Blucher, he's like the vice president of DiMaggio. I told him about that I had a Knaggs guitar coming, and I wanted to keep it single coil. Normally I had been a humbucker guy, like a regular traditional humbucker in the back. But I liked this plate, and I wanted something like a single coil size, but still a humbucker. And I asked him about it, and he was familiar with Joe, and definitely respects Joe's work. And he suggested this Satch Track pickup. It's the neck position pickup from a Joe Satriani set. And at first I was like, oh, really? I didn't think it would work, but I was very pleasantly surprised that it would work. And I went with it because it's Steve Blucher. And if you know Steve Blucher, you just kind of roll with whatever he suggests, because he's usually right. He's usually right 100% of the time. And I love it. I love this combination. You know, when I asked Joe about this guitar, originally I said, because I had two of my model with this same pickup set, and I said, you know, Joe, let me just go with whatever you would normally put in a guitar. And were they Fralins?
Yeah, Joe likes the Fralin Blues specials, especially.
Yes,
that's
which
what
sounded great. Yeah. So I went with that, and you guys brought it to me at the NAMM show, and I played it at the NAMM show after playing my other guitar, and it worked, but it wasn't my thing for doing my instrumental solo stuff. And I tried, and then I called Joe up and I said, I think I need to put the normal set in there just for me. If I was going to have a guitar with for recording or any of my sideman gigs or something like that, like when I did Chesapeake Choptank tour, those pickups would have worked really great. But my sound, Steve hit the nail right on the head. For my sound, for what I normally do, this set works great.
Is that
I
the
like
guitar?
those frequencies, but
Is that the guitar you? For people who don't know, Larry was awesome enough to do a guest solo on my band's record that's coming out. And I'm just curious. I never asked you which guitar you used, and is that the one? Or you don't remember?
I don't remember. It probably was, or it was the brown one. I really don't remember.
Okay.
If I open up Pro Tools, I could tell you.
Well, what are you waiting for? No, I'm joking.
Hold on.
No, I'm kidding.
It'll take me a minute.
It's just personal. I just for my own, personal weirdness.
Well,
quirky.
Sean Salas just says after he recovers from his Les Paul purchase, he's going to go for that guitar, Larry.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's a great guitar. It's a great guitar. They made 5 exact replicas of this guitar. All right. Go back now. 5 exact replicas of this guitar. And we had 4 of them in Florida last year in October when I was doing a 3-week residency there. And everybody who played them loved them. All the people that bought them loved them. It's a great guitar. It's absolutely great. And the pickup combination. Guys that wouldn't normally try that pickup combination loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being that I've played that guitar, and I normally love all your guitars, but that one, it's very smooth. It's just easy. It's easy to, the sound just jumps right off of it. It just jumps right off the guitar.
I don't want to work that hard. I'm still looking for Jay's session. So
no, Larry, you can tell me. It's just So Peter, Bent Rosem says that he has he loves his Knaggs Steve Stevens signature model. So I just asked him what color combination he had. So that's cool that he has one.
It is. Thank you very much.
And I think Johnny Boner Jams had a super chat about 3 hours ago, but you looked like you were weekend at Bernie's over there.
I'm
Oh my God.
I'm doing a million things over here. Yeah, Boner Jams, and somebody else did too. I've been trying to find who the other person. I can't. I've been looking through chat logs trying to find who else that was. But
so while you were looking for the one you missed another one.
Oh, it's great. I've got the entire chat log to this. I was scrolling through the entire thing. I still am, but I'll anyway, thank you, both of you. Mike Neese, it was you? Okay, good.
No, it was me, actually. Me. Everybody super chatted. That's what happened.
Don't I wish?
Wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be. Then again, we wouldn't see a penny of it.
Mm-hmm. I don't see it either.
Well, yeah. Well, you have to see some of it.
It goes towards this.
All right. Well,
and not just this. I've got like different things that'll have to go towards.
All right. Well, at least you got stuff to go towards it. Oh, there goes Mike Neese again. $10.
Thank you, Mike.
Get about 30 cents out of that.
Yeah, it's not really $10. It's super chats. Google
don't make the people giving you money feel like you're not getting it.
Oh well, I mean, you just got it's appreciated. Doesn't matter.
It is appreciated, but the main reason people do that is to get noticed.
But now you're really making people not want to do it.
Well, that's the truth. That's why they created that.
So, Peter, I have a great question for you. You are a guitar player, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
I asked this question last night on my show. What is your favorite guitar? What is your best guitar? And are they one and the same?
Only if I can only name one.
No, they could be two. They could be
Okay.
two different ones, and they don't have to be from the company you're with. Whatever they are, whatever they are.
I don't know. It's I currently have a Steve Stevens SSC. I have a J. I have one of the Kipawa acoustics that we made in the early days, the first 2 years. They were made in Canada by Robert Godin, old friend of mine. Those are the only guitars I really have. Actually, it's not true. I have a small Tele that I had a friend of Joe's, Eric Johnson, make for my son. And I just bought my son a, believe it or not, a Fender Telecaster, because he's very much into Nirvana right now, and I couldn't talk him out of it.
Well, it is a staple guitar, so
Yeah.
regardless
And
of
I got it at a really good price from my old friend Joey Brasler, who's working at Fender now, and I've known him for a long time. So, and I also wanted to see what the guitar's like.
Mhm.
I don't go to stores much, and if I do, I don't usually have time to check out guitars. So it was kind of nice to see a Fender Tele come in and kind of be able to check it out. And it's a really well-made guitar for the money.
Sure.
Actually, surprisingly well made for the money, I should say. And it was sort of like I do these sort of case studies from time to time, and I'm not completely hell-bent on whatever brand it is. I have played guitars for no money that were great, and I've played really expensive guitars until including very, very valuable so-called or perceived vintage guitars that were crap.
Well, that's cool. That's very cool. How about you, Jay? What's your best guitar? What's your favorite guitar? And are they one and the same?
Well, I think Ty mentioned it last night when you asked him that question on your show. I think I can probably speak for a lot of us where your favorite guitar might change from time to time. Like if you're in the, maybe if you're doing a certain style, you're like, man, this is perfect. And then you switch style, like, well, this really works for that. Or just, who knows? I mean, Dave, you have 1,000 guitars back there. So I can understand how, your favorite guitar, the one maybe you always reach for could change from time to time. But I would say, and this is weird because I would say right now, if I'm picking up any guitar, and this has been since I got it, it's this one. It's a 2019 Ibanez RG 7-string, and it just for some reason it feels amazing. I can't understand it. I don't understand it, but
it's a lucky guitar.
Well, I'm not saying that Ibanez isn't great, because they are, but I'm just saying
that particular one is like it's a magic guitar for you.
Yeah, because ever since I played the 91 Universe back there, you can't really see it, the black and green one, that was like always hands down the best guitar personally that I've ever like touched. So it's very strange that now if I'm going to play, I'm picking up this one before I even touch that one. Which before I got this, there was no way I'm thinking that could happen. So I would say my best guitar is the black and green one, but my favorite is this one right now. That could change, Mm-hmm. In a few months, I could grab that to do something and like, whoa, I've missed this. So.
Okay, that's a very fair answer. And the reason why I left that question so vague is because I love that everyone has their own answer. It's not the same answer for everyone. It's not everyone reads that question the same way. I could have worded that question a lot easier and a lot, within smaller parameters. But I think the vague question is more interesting because people read it differently. People understand it differently.
Well, it's kind of like I look at it like, you know, it's similar to women, you know, if you think about it. If we would all want to date the same woman, that would be a huge problem, wouldn't it be? So, you know, some people like this, some people like that, and whatever feels right, whatever gets your creativity out, whatever you don't want to put down, let me put it that way, is what works, you know, and that can be anything. It can be whatever it is, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And that's why I have so many different ones here. They're all different. I've got a few of the same, but you know, most of them are all different.
Is that your man cave there, by the way?
This is my living room. Yeah, my fiance wants to kill me for making this the guitar room, but no other room is big enough.
My best girl is my wife, but my favorite's my girlfriend.
So glad you said that, not me.
Hey,
Oh,
Dave.
Larry's got another
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah, I need to see that.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Kenai. Forgot about that.
I forgot you even had that. Yeah, that needs to make its way up here.
That's a beauty.
This is the satin as well.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's just stunning.
That's nice.
Semi-claws, right?
Semi-gloss. Yep.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that. Oh, that's what I want. Before I forget, tell us about those tuning pegs, Peter.
They just, you know, Blues and Revolution. We've been using Godo metal, you know, metal tuners, metal button tuners. I think the first 6 years, 7 years. I think we switched over to Blues and Revolution in 2017, I believe.
Uh-huh. I have
Um,
I have a question. I want to know the difference between those and these here. Hang on one second.
Okay.
Just so people know, because they look similar to these. The buttons look similar to these.
The casing doesn't.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
So what's the
I'm
difference?
I'm not really sure what's on there. There may be some OEM casings. We just use the regular Clusen tuner, Clusen Revolutions, and I think it was a good decision to switch over to these types of tuners. Guitars just look a lot more vintage than they did before. I think, and we use these tuners for all of our influence line guitars, so which would be regular Kenai J, Cheyenne, Kia, and Jenner's. And I think the guitars look better with these tuners, and they work perfectly. So I think it was a good move to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they look great. I'm sure they work fantastic.
Yeah, they're solid tuners. We have a good relationship with Cluson. We can get them easily, and you know, as I said, they look more like guitars that we have grown up with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
James
Yeah.
Severn says Larry is a badass guitarist. Yep, that's the truth.
Thank you.
He is correct.
Thank you, James. Nice name, Severn.
Yes.
He's got to get one now. Well, Johnny, since you missed Boner Jam's private, what is it called? A
Super chat.
Super chat.
He sent me this. These are his two favorite guitars. I don't know which one is his favorite and which one's the best, but here's his. I'm just going to show it real quick.
Paul Gilbert.
Yep.
and a
PGM one
Noodles.
and a Fender. I think that's the Jim Root model, Jazzmaster. I'm pretty sure. I can play it again. I keep missing it, but whatever. You hear him?
That's cool, man.
Oh yeah. Give it to me.
John Bale, did you get that for tomorrow night?
You know what sucks, man? I wanted that Paul Gilbert because Dave is the one that secured that hookup. And
Find guitars for people. Just call me Pierre.
yeah, because that's one of my favorite guitars of all time. I've always loved that blue and pink, whatever. And when
Combination.
when that guitar came up, I couldn't do it at the time, so I was like, Brian, do you want this? Because I want it. He's like, yeah, I'll take it. I'm like,
Well, I mean, the price was right. What was
it was awesome. Yeah.
It was stupid, that price. And that guitar is so clean.
Yes. Everything's still super vivid on it because a lot of them you see the pickups are super faded.
Mm-hmm. And at least you know where that one is.
Yeah. So if I really did want it, I'm sure Brian would just, Brendan Buttcheeks asks, Jay, can you ask Peter if those are custom bridges or what brand are they, specifically on the Kaya T3?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's sort of a pretty important subject. Yeah, all of our bridges are custom made except two of them. The bridge on the Kenai J is a Tone Pro wraparound, adjustable wraparound, that we felt was a good fit for that particular model. And the other exception is the regular Tone Pro stop tail that we use on Steve Stevens and Eric Steckel models. The Choptank hardtail, Severn hardtail, or this Kenai Larry showed earlier, the regular Kenai bridge. Maybe you can show it again.
There we go.
These are all our own designs. On this one, the idea is, unlike a regular stop tail, you actually have the bridge and the string holder part of the same metal. It's basically one piece with the middle part cut out. But because it's one piece and because these two pieces are together and connected and screwed together in the center of the body, you get a lot more harmonics out of that bridge than you get out of any other bridge. Which means there's more harmonics, there's more high end compared to a regular stop tail bridge. The stop tail bridge, depending on what amp setting you have, may sound a bit more chunky. Classic example is the SSC, which I call this chunk monster. The Kenai, like the one Larry has with that particular bridge, has a more open sound, more harmonics, and is probably suited better for different genres or different sounds. So with our and maybe you can show that too, Larry, maybe with our Severn or Choptank bridges, the idea was to create a bridge that was not a knife edge principle, because knife edges always get loose over time, especially if you use softer top woods. The 6 screws that you usually have, they kind of get sloppy, and then the whole tremolo unit is not as stable as it should be. So the idea on this bridge is you have a bridge blade screwed down into the body, and then you have the floating part of the bridge connected to the bridge blade, to the blade with a hinge instead of knife edges. So it's really, really tight and really, really stable. The bridge saddles are cased, they can't move, they can only move forward or backwards, they can't move sideways. So everything is so tight and so locked in that all that string vibration gets transferred into the bridge and through the bridge into the body which again creates a lot more sustain than anything I've heard before.
Now, does that bridge also allow the guitar to stay in tune better when using the tremolo? Does it have anything to do with that?
Absolutely.
Well, if I could interrupt right there, if anybody saw when I played with Larry at the very beginning of the song, and this is on YouTube, Larry at the very beginning, that open chord or whatever, he says, "Hey, let's pretend or let's act like it's 1991 or something or 90," and he picks up his guitar by his whammy bar, that guitar right there, and I'm like, I don't even want to do it because I'm afraid mine will go out of tune, you know. And his guitar was, I was like, holy shit, man, you know.
Wow.
So that's just,
Oh, there it is.
He's like, what?
Yeah, it really holds tuning well. We have a couple of players that use it, like Michael McHenry. It's a local player in Annapolis, monster player, and he has a Severn trem, 3 single coils, and he does very, very crazy stuff with it, very Hendrix-like stuff with it, and he always tells me how unbelievably in tune it stays. So it seems to be working.
I get several people ask me, go, "You didn't tune the whole set?" I said, "Yeah, I tuned before the set." It depends on the strings, but
and you do use
great.
You do use your tremolo like a Floyd. You do use it like that.
I use it a lot, yeah. And I rarely dive bomb, but I do use it a lot. But yeah, it stays in tune great.
Cool.
As long as I got good strings on it, good.
So Peter, how you doing? It's 9:45. I told you to go fast.
Yeah. That is true. It goes very fast. Yeah, I'm starting to fade a little, to be honest.
Fine. It's only 6:44 here.
We're going back in time. Back in time.
Yeah, I've been rolling since 5:30 this morning. So
wow. So let me just find one more question, or if anyone wants to ask one more question for Peter, and then we'll let him go, and we'll say thank you to him.
Jay, was this guitar?
Yes. Oh, that was the one you used? Cool. I'm glad that it was the same guitar that, that we jammed with, or you jammed, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Larry.
By the way, the album's done. It was mastered the other day.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, if no one's going to ask any more questions, I'm going to say, all right, Peter. So how does one? Where do we go to buy a Knaggs guitar?
There is a number of dealers. Our official authorized Knaggs dealers are all listed on our website. We don't have a super huge dealer network. It's rather small, but the people that are listed there, the companies that are listed there, are the people and companies we are working with right now. We want to work with right now. You just have to go to the website, and they're all listed. You in the US, and also the ones that are overseas.
And what's the website?
It's KnaggsGuitars.com.
Okay.
With a K.
Yes, Knaggs, like that. Knaggs with a K.
Knaggs, you got
Knaggs.
it. Yeah.
Hey Dave, I still,
kind of funny.
I still remember. That's sorry, guy Peter.
It's kind of funny when the Germans are pronouncing Knaggs, they actually call it Knaggs. Which in German, Knaggs also means if somebody says to you, "Du hast einen Knacks," you have a Knacks, that means you not really right in your mind.
Yeah, crazy.
So it's kind of funny. They have to get used to that the K is silent.
That's also it's kind of Yiddish as well.
Is it?
Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So what were you going to say, Larry?
Yeah. That could be. There's a lot of Yiddish words that are originally German. I know it's amazing. I only really learned that later on in life when I hung with friends in New York, and they would say things like, "Let's go and schlepp," schlep the amplifiers from
Schlep them up the schlep them up the
yeah,
stairs.
schlep means to carry in German, okay? And schlep, and it seems to be a Yiddish word, but you guys also put an ing on it, which means I'm tired from schlepping amplifiers, which is really interesting. So that kind of blew me away when I first learned that, you know, in the late '80s in New York.
Oh, sure. So, Larry, what were you going to say about Knaggs?
Oh, I was going to say that one day I was talking to Peter, and he said, you should really give Wes Bentley a call at Rebel Guitars. I said, why? Because he's one of the biggest Knaggs dealers, and he's in Alabama. He's like 45 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
That's random. I mean,
yeah, Knaggs. Yeah. Wes is one of the best. He's been our #1 dealer for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, well, he's got the most killer guitars there. Every one of them.
He's got great guitars, and then we got Anthony in New York. He's a total Knagster. And
Eastchester,
and Bren Bowles at Wilcott, and you know, Cornerstone, Florida. They're a really great dealer, and you know, Knaggs enthusiasts, and a few more. So, you know, we're very blessed to have good guys. You know, we make those decisions not just based on what they can do. We also make these decisions to whom these people are and what kind of vibe we get from them.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody out there isn't following Knaggs' Instagram, you gotta, because I love watching these videos that you guys post.
Thank you.
I mean, I could watch stuff like this all day.
Yeah, I have to take a few more. These are usually videos I take when I'm at the shop, and I sometimes forget to take them. There's so much going on all the time when I'm there, and I'm not at the shop every day because it's about a 50-mile drive from Annapolis to the shop. So, and I lose sort of 3 hours if I do. So, but I have to remind myself to do more of those, because I know what you mean. They really are incredible. They're even incredible for me when I film it.
Yeah.
I got to show this one too, if you don't mind. This one,
Sure,
really, like another one like this, like seeing stuff like this, just like
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was Nick. That was Nick untaping one of the race car inspired guitars that we recently made. I think this one went to Eastchester to Anthony, and I just kind of filmed him unraveling or unwrapping the tape. And you know, this is all stuff these guys do. You know, they tape the guitars. You know, this is a rather complicated procedure because of different colors and different tapings. So I just caught a moment where he was unwrapping it.
And it's OCD safe to watch this, because look at how straight everything is, you know?
Yeah, these guys are really good, man. Nick and Jason, the two guys in the finish hall, they're amazing guys. All of the guys are actually
Pretty incredible.
So go follow Knaggs Guitars on all social media.
Yes,
so
and
much.
the Knagsters on Facebook. The Knagsters on Facebook. Check that out.
Yeah, it's a really nice, you know, it's a really nice and tight little group of people from around the world. I'm very proud of it, and you know, it's like I love hearing stories when they visit each other. You know, some people see each other on vacation and hang out, and it's really nice. It's a really tight community, and as I said, I'm very proud of it.
You know what I really like what you do on Facebook, Peter, is when you take pictures of completed guitars that belong to people, and you say happy birthday so and so with their guitar as it's finished.
Thank you.
I really love that idea.
Thank you. Just trying to spread some happiness, you know, as best as I can. We got enough crazy stuff going on, so I figure if I give some attention to some people and make them happy, that may help them get through the day. You know what I mean?
I have one more question, then we're going to let you go. How many guitars get completed a day, and how many guitars get completed a year?
It's hard to say per day, because we kind of assemble them in batches. currently we make about 50 guitars, so you can do the math. Make about 580 to 600 guitars a year.
That's still a very small amount. So anyone that
Very
has
small.
Knaggs guitar, you're in a very small family. Very,
Yeah,
very.
I think we've made a total of about 4,000 guitars since we started 10
Yeah,
years ago.
That's amazing.
Can I chime in for a
Wow.
quick second?
Sure.
I like to go to guitar factories. I went to a very, very big guitar company that got a tour like probably about a year or two before I went to Knaggs. And their custom shop was outputting 70 guitars a day. And I was like, is that a custom shop?
Wow.
That was really hard to believe. But they were doing it. And it didn't feel like a custom shop.
That's amazing.
Yeah, 70 guitars a day is a beast. Okay, that's like a major beast. Okay.
Yeah.
You probably need to make that, to do that. You probably need like 200, 300 guitars at least. Probably more like 400.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, their quality control had been getting slammed for a long time too. So.
Yeah, I was about to mention how is the you can't have good quality control without with making that many
mentioning
guitars.
the name of the company. I was happy to get the tour, but I was blown away that they were making that many guitars in the custom shop.
Well, I think when it comes to quality control, I think it a lot of it has to do with how experienced the guys are that are working at the place and that are making the guitars. You know, our guys are all very experienced. They've been doing it for a long time. Decades, several decades in most cases. So they know what they're doing, and because they know what they're doing, they don't need to use as much time, but at the same time, the quality level is very, very high, and it's part of what we're trying to do. You know.
Yeah.
The quality control at Knaggs is amazing. Like I said, when I first went there, every guitar I played simply was just like, wow. I've never been in a place and picked up every guitar that I could and was totally blown away by every guitar.
We trying to find one? Hey, wait a minute. We try.
Well, you know, you kind of go, this is
Hand me
cool,
that one.
this is cool. You know, we try another one and stuff like that. And when I went there, I really was not looking specifically for a Knaggs guitar. I just wanted to check out the factory. I just really wanted to, you know, find out about it. Steve was using them, so I was like, all right, I gotta check it out.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't argue with his tone, and I mean, and just his guitar is just it's absolutely beautiful. All of his guitars are just crazy. The leopard print one, how cool is that? How many of those have you guys done?
I can tell you one thing about Steve, and you know, you can take that as a given. Steve does not play anything that doesn't work or doesn't sound good. There's probably every guitar company on the planet that would want Steve to play their guitars, and you know, for him to play our guitars, and you know, the relationship that we have. You know, same goes for Larry, same goes for Eric, same goes for many other artists we have. But in Steve's case, simply because he probably, you know, has a larger statue amongst our artists, you know, for him to make that choice and stick with us since we started working together is, you know, is quite a big deal, because he is ultimately one of the greatest gearheads on the planet, and he really knows guitars. So,
and he could play any guitar he wanted.
And he could play any guitar he wanted to, and he would get it the next day. But it's great that he's been the way he has playing our guitars. So big deal for us.
It's a big deal for everybody.
Yeah,
because he's, you know, he's maybe not as a household name as Eddie Van Halen, but he's a pretty damn big household name. You know, everyone knows Steve Stevens.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Well, Peter, thank you so much. You know, on behalf of all of us here, thank you, really, really thank you for joining us. I know how busy you are. I know that this is not quite something that you do all the time, and I speak for everyone when I say we really appreciate you being here and answering these questions. And it's a pleasure to know you.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it too. And anytime, I hope I could answer some of the questions that maybe make you understand a little bit where I was coming or am coming from, sort of whom we are as people and a company. And pleasure to see you, Larry, always, and everyone else. And I hope that you all stay safe and stay well in these crazy times. Guitars may not be on the on the top of our priorities right now, but they are things that can give us moments of happiness even in dark times. So I appreciate you guys doing this, putting this show together and having me on it, and all the best to you.
Yeah, same here.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you,
Great to see you,
Peter.
Peter.
Take care, guys.
We'll see you soon.
See you soon, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Wow. How cool is that? Peter Wolf. Everybody go buy a Knaggs guitar right now.
And send them to us. I really want that Steve Stevens one. If anybody out there,
Who doesn't want that guitar? That's a gorgeous guitar.
yeah,
They make it in purple as well. It's just
I've
like you
seen
said, they make it in all colors, but I've seen one in purple today as well.
Yeah, so the purple one. But it's this, as soon as Johnny pulled up that page, the second I saw that, I was like, yeah, yep.
Yeah. And thank you again, Larry, for joining us and showing us your guitars and telling us the little stories.
And Larry, while we have you on, what are you working on now? What do you got coming up? I mean, not that anybody in the music industry is really going on tour right now, but I'm sure you're working on.
There's no music industry right now.
Man, I know, it's a shame.
There's no music industry right now. I am finishing up Katie Martin's. I produce a lot of singer-songwriters in world music and Native American music. I'm finishing up singer Katie Martin's new record and another singer-songwriter named Jeannie Karen. And a project that started with Don Avery. So every day I kind of get up and answer some messages as much as I can, and I mix one of their songs, and then I've been shooting some video stuff, and so I should try and shoot some video, and then I work on a song for my new record, which I actually have more songs than I need right now, but while it's flowing, I'm going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I do.
That's awesome. Yeah, and Larry, I don't know if I told you this. You had toured with somebody that is a friend of my sister's, like years ago. I can't think of who, like maybe like 2008, 2009, somewhere.
Has to be a Native American artist then.
Yeah. Yeah,
Joy
well, my sister's Native American.
Oh.
Yeah, that's who it was.
Joy Harjo.
Yeah.
We played her inauguration last September at the Library of Congress. She's the first Native American poet laureate of the United States. Yeah.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
Joy's
cool.
great. I produced three of Joy's records and a couple of singles, and played in her play. She's wonderful. Actually, I had a couple of gigs with Joy in April, and they got canceled. So,
Oh. I saw some of the videos on YouTube of you guys performing, and yeah, this was years ago, 2009, somewhere.
Yeah. I've been working with Joy, at least 10 years, maybe 15 years. I've been working with Joy.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody go follow Larry Mitchell on all social media as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So the Eastchester thing, that's not happening?
Nothing's happening in April.
Are you not coming to New York?
Nothing's happening in April.
Okay.
Yeah. I think most places have a shutdown for 30 days, so
Okay.
that's going to carry over past then.
Boner Jam says, Jay, can you tell us how you and Larry collaborated on your new record?
You know, Larry kept calling and calling. He's like, Jay, I know you're working on a new record. I gotta be on it, man. No, you know, there was a song that probably the fastest song on the album. I just, for some reason, there was a long solo section, and personally, like unloading, shredding, like that type of stuff isn't really my bag.
You killed it.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But I had this idea that I'm like, wait a minute. You know, we've never done, like in my band, we've never done like a guitar duel, like back and forth type of thing. And so I just had an idea. I'm like, man, I wonder if Larry would do like a back and forth guitar duel, I guess for lack of a better term. So I reached out to him. I said, Larry, you know, I got this song, and, you know, send it to him and said, if there's something you'd be interested in doing, you know, we go back and forth.
You forgot to mention how you called Steve Vai and Joe Satriani first, and they said no.
They were like, they never even responded. No, you know what? To be honest, to be really honest, I would rather be on it with Larry, because
of course
everybody that's watched knows that like Larry is one of the main reasons why I play guitar. So to be on a song with him, in my opinion, is like one of the coolest things of like my musical career. You know, every time I listen to it, it's like, you know, because when everybody gets to hear it, it's Larry goes, then I go, then Larry goes, then I go again. It's a back and forth, pretty much shredder thing. And then Larry has this cool like outro lead that he does as well. But now it was just super cool. And my friend Brian, Boner Jams in the chat, he heard it. And the first thing he sent me when he heard it was basically saying it drenches panties is how he kind of worded it on the phone to me. And it's super cool. I'm really excited about it.
Jay is shredding on there. I'm just kind of doing what I do, but Jay shredding.
Stop it. Stop.
So when are you going to send that over?
It was literally mastered 2 days ago.
So when are you going to send it over?
I only have like the reference master of like the entire album in one file. I'm not sending that out to any. Well, you know, I send it out to one person. But you guys will have it soon. I know I have to pay Larry. No, I'm trying.
No, Jay did the you know, the 30th anniversary of my first record is coming up in a couple of weeks, and so I plan on, like, I do my Facebook lives and YouTube lives every Tuesday. So I'm going to start doing a lot more of the songs from that record on that, and plus I needed to do something for a video. And Jay converted the drums, and it sounds exactly like Yves Gerard playing it. And Jay, I told Yves, because I called him up. I didn't want to bug you about another song, and I said, you know what? Let me just call Yves and ask him to do it. So Yves is doing the drums for Evil for me.
Ooh.
From the last. So Yves doing Evil, and Jay did In God We Trust. And it's killer. It's absolutely killer.
Did he hear it?
He hasn't heard it yet. I'm gonna send it to him when he sends me the.
You gotta send it to him.
Yeah.
Send him just the drum file that I sent you, and have him tell him, say, Yves, let me know if there's anything wrong. I'm sure he'll pick something out that, like, oh no, there's an extra kick drum there or something. But I went through with a serious fine tooth comb, man.
I asked him to do Evil. He's like, wait, do you want it exactly like the record? I said, yeah. He goes,
yeah, man. Otherwise, Jay will bitch about it if it's not exactly like the record.
Yeah, he has to relearn it.
Yeah. Great stuff, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he was one of my favorite.
Knaggs.
Yeah, getting a Knaggs. Woohoo!
Getting a Knaggs, dude.
Kenai J for me. TV Yellow Relict.
Ooh, Bent Rosem says, I sent pictures of my Knaggs Steve Stevens model guitar to your Instagram. Direct message.
To who? Johnny?
Johnny.
Let's see. I Okay. Let me see if I can open this. Since we have to wash our hands every 5 minutes, I'm destroying. My hands are like tearing apart, so I'm having to use lotion nonstop too.
Johnny, if you're not leaving your house, why do you need to wash your hands every 5 minutes?
Well, I've always done that
Just-
anyway.
Because he's a
disinfect the
germaphobe.
house.
Yeah. And so I can't open my phone. It won't let me view. That's just
Did you sanitize your fingerprints off your phone, off your hand?
I did. I sanitized my phone. I sanitized my fingerprints are gone.
Well, now you can have some fun out there, and you don't have to worry about getting arrested. We dusted the fingerprints. We couldn't find anything. All we have is this hand sanitizer loaded everywhere.
Okay, let me see. Come on. Okay. Oh, wow, man. Wait, how do I show this without showing your real name?
Yeah.
Or is that do you use your real name on here? I don't know.
Bent
'Cause-
Rosem.
Yeah, because I see a different name. It's not. Hang on. Let me screenshot that.
So while we're waiting to do that, I am going to say, so I sold that black gem body that I had this past couple of weeks to a guy, and he got it today, and he calls me today. Wow, look at that!
Ooh, look at that.
Oh my God!
Very cool, man.
Relic seafoam green.
Wow.
It's gorgeous. So he gets it today, and I called him because he asked me about the guitar. So I didn't want to text a bunch of stuff. So I called him, and we're talking, and we're getting along fine. Everything is fine. And at the end of the conversation, he said, I'm Tube Supio. I'm like, oh my God. I felt like I was like, I would have been so much nicer if I would have known it was you. Well, no, because when like normally I sell something, or when you sell something, and then after the fact, people ask you a bunch of questions about stuff. It's like, dude, you already got it, man.
Leave me alone, bro.
Yeah. But it's not that I was rude to him at all, because I wasn't. I was, and he didn't ask any. He wasn't invasive or anything. He didn't. He just wanted to know something, and I just, I was like, I was lying down. I didn't really want to text, so I called him, and it was great talking to him. He says, by the way, I'm Tube Supio. I watch your show every day. I'm like, oh my God, Jesus Christ. It's so nice to meet you. It's like, it was like meeting a different person. So Tube Supio, thank you for buying that body, and thank you for being a fan of the show and for all of us. And thanks for hanging out with us. And that goes for all of you.
So in other words, if you buy something from Dave, you better tell him who you are. Otherwise,
or else they're going to treat you like shit.
Yeah. Oh, Cameron Brown says, yeah, tell me about it. I sold the gem to 7 over 8, and now I can't get rid of the guy. Jeez. Yeah, he can't get rid of me. He wants to get rid of me so bad that he's having me mix his record. So
well, that's the next thing I got to do. Now that I'm a YouTuber, I need to do a record. Larry's been trying to make me do a record since I've known him, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll do one.
Years.
I'll do one. Yeah, I'll do one. Now I have to do one.
hey, we can all guest spot on it.
First, I'd have to learn. I need to learn how to use this computer because I still don't know how to use it. Don't know how to use any type of Pro Tools or anything.
Well, you got 2 guys on here that know Pro Tools.
And you know what? Now, and thank you for offering. And I know Larry is offered. He has offered for years to help me out. For years, dude. I'll do anything for you. Paint my fucking house, man. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I need this now. I need to do it now that I'm like doing things that I was always procrastinated about. And again, I want to thank Johnny Beane first and foremost for teaching me how to do this, and for not necessarily allowing me to do my own show, but for teaching me to be able to do my own show, and also for letting me stay on this show. I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course. Yeah, it's been great.
It's been great, Greg. Now scram.
No more invites.
You mean demands? No, I'm trying to do a raid. I'm trying to
Raid.
Yeah. You guys. Well, how many we got? We got 70. Let's see.
I'm gonna raid the pantry. I'm hungry, man.
The refrigerator?
Yeah. Look at these. See, guys, see this?
Yeah.
Dark under the skin.
Man. No, I'm just looking at it now. I didn't notice it was that bad.
Why don't you get some sleep?
Yeah. Imagine that's what it's from. I'm not getting much sleep right now. Now I was getting something out of the attic, and this baby bouncy, whatever the hell they're called, it was all apart, and the legs on it are kind of like elastic, and I was trying to pull it out to get something under it. So, I have no patience at all for anything. So I'm pulling it out. I'm like, you son, yanking the thing. One of the legs, these metal legs, these thin ass metal legs, gets stuck, and all of a sudden it comes out and whap right in the dude. I'm telling you, if it was like half an inch up, I would have lost my eye. It hit me.
You lost the eye.
You'll poke your eye out, kid.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Crazy. What happens when you have kids? You hurt yourself doing the dumbest shit.
Man. Glad you're okay though, man.
Oh, thanks, Chad.
Okay. See. All right. I think are we good?
Yeah, I think we're good, right?
Okay. Thank you everybody for watching. Don't leave.
Thank
I'm
you
gonna
guys
send
for
you guys.
having me on.
Oh, anytime, Larry.
Yes, Larry. Thank you so
Anytime,
much.
man?
Anytime, every time.
Yes, all the time. Okay, let's do a raid here. I'm just gonna type this in the chat here. You guys
Larry,
jump.
go live. We'll send everybody over to you.
Everybody jump over there and put hashtag Johnny Bean Raid in the chat.
What's a raid?
A raid is where you're about to end a stream and you send everybody over to another stream that's on.
Oh.
So you're sending over your viewers to somewhere else.
Okay. Where are you sending them?
I'm not going to say.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Never mind.
I'm not going to say where I'm sending them, but make sure you guys say Johnny Bean Raid in the chat. They have 130 people watching. Okay. Awesome. Jump over there. Everybody. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Saturday Night Live with John VL. And we'll have a great time. All right, Larry. Great to see you, man.
Yeah, great to see you guys.
Thank you for hanging out.
What?
I know. It's insane, man.
Thank you for hanging out.
It's crazy. I mean, I can't say it. Can't leave the house. The whole state. It's craziness, man.
We are in a bizarre sci-fi pre-zombie pre-apocalyptic movie that's going on around us.
It seems like on Sunday night they're going to quarantine New York as well.
Isn't Manhattan under quarantine now? Or no?
Yeah, but I mean the rest of New York, Long Island and New York. I believe Cuomo is going to quarantine us as of Sunday night, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the only way you can go out is if you need to get something at the store or go to a doctor's appointment. That's it. So I'd be able to go to dialysis and then come right home, and that's it.
And you realize that we're guitar players, and that's kind of the way we live usually.
Yeah, and yeah, it is. I basically sit right in front of this screen here playing guitar, and
among other things.
No, I don't do that here. I just do this here.
Or is it this
All right,
one?
guys.
Anyway,
Good night, Larry.
Larry, thank you again. Appreciate
All
it.
right.
I'll call you in a couple days.
Okay. Take it easy, guys. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Take care.
Good night, Larry.
Larry Mitchell, everybody.
Yes.
That sounded like it
Awesome.
was coming from like somewhere weird. That was awesome sounding.
I know that was.
It's all
strange.
three of us. All three of us did it. That's why.
That was strange.
I'm not going over there, Johnny. Sorry.
Okay. Well, hey, everybody, jump over there. I'm watching. Johnny Beane Raid in the chat. Only
So
like
where?
only two people did it.
I still don't know where it is. Where
Yeah.
are we going?
TT initials.
Yeah. I'd rather eat my own crap.
Whoa. Now. Hey now. Hey now.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Where's my See you guys tomorrow night. And later.
Bye.
Bye.